Airbnb, one of the world's most prevalent marketplaces for authentic places to stay and things to do. With over 7 million accommodation offerings and over 50,000 selected activities, all of which are empowered by local hosts, the company has proven to be an economic empowerment engine. Airbnb is a privately owned, community-based online platform that enables local homes to be listed for rent. The online platform connects hosts and travelers, facilitating the process of renting without actually owning any properties itself. Airbnb is able to juggle the responsibilities entitled to its self-identified stakeholders, those being the guests, the hosts, communities, shareholders, and employees. Airbnb's marketplace stems from very simple beginnings. Conceived in 2008 with two of the founders, Joe Geber and Brian Chesky, and literally 3 air mattresses. The two were living in San Francisco, unable to pay rent, so they set up a simple website and rented out the 3 mattresses, promising to include a homemade breakfast. Following the successful rent of their mattresses, they decided to build on the company exponentially, evolving to facilitate 750 million guests, accessible in 62 languages across more than 220 countries and regions, all through developing their disruptive business model. The leadership team comprises 16 people, headed by the 3 co-founders. Airbnb currently utilizes an exponential and disruptive business model. Undoubtedly, the company has disrupted both the landscape of hospitality and housing, evident through their exceptional number of listings, more than the top 5 hotel brands combined. The business model utilized by Airbnb is a multi-sided marketplace, connecting travelers with hosts, making revenue through booking fees. However, what really differentiates the business model from other hotels companies is that Airbnb is exponential. This is evident firstly by the fact that Airbnb's business model is made for a mass market, connecting that mass market with hosts and experience providers in a unique way. Additionally, through utilizing a rating system, the company has developed a community for its custom segments. Further, Airbnb employs a completely digital channel, purely making bookings, managing listings, and inquiries online. Rather than owning its own properties, Airbnb relies on connecting people who need something to people who can provide for that need. So the question arises, whilst Airbnb has developed processes that enable it to move into new markets in a way that brick and mortar hotels are forever aiming for, is Airbnb's business model immune to problems? Through evaluating the problems with Airbnb's business model, we have found that it can undoubtedly be improved, eliminating problems and succumbing to opportunities through utilizing a new synergistic business model.
Airbnb's platform is undoubtedly one of the most successful startups. However, with immense success, there are problems. I'm going to elaborate on issues that are currently impacting Airbnb's current business model. The main focal points that will be analysed are trust issues and traveller retention. Establishing trust between guests and hosts are integral to the survival of Airbnb. Airbnb is currently experiencing a multitude of trust issues that have had a detrimental impact on consumer confidence. A large issue that has been occurring prior to the COVID-19 crisis is a scam that results in customers being manipulated by hosts whilst being charged exorbitant prices. The scam essentially involves hosts manipulating Airbnb's poorly written rules and cancelling the booking just before the guest arrives. An excuse is made up by the host, and it's usually due to issues with the property. The host will offer the guest another place to stay that is usually at a higher price than the original location. The property, however, is generally in a rougher part of the neighbourhood. Furthermore, the property is usually unsafe and quite dirty. The customer is then notified by the host to communicate with them privately and not involve Airbnb to avoid being banned on the platform. Airbnb's platform also raises other trust and safety issues, such as individuals who ignore the terms and conditions and decide to have large house parties. Although Airbnb has had a strict no-party policy for quite some time now, there have still been incidences of house parties ending in gun violence, resulting in deaths in the US. Furthermore, there are other unique issues that arise, such as Airbnbs turning into mini brothels for prostitution, and registered sex offenders staying in Airbnbs without having to notify neighbours due to a lack of terms and conditions regarding sexual offenders and past criminals. Traveller retention is the company's most important goal, as they want customers to always choose Airbnb rather than staying in a hotel. However, Airbnb will be heading into some difficulty, especially during and after the COVID-19 crisis. As it stands, a total of 80% of bookings have been cancelled due to travel restrictions and also an uncertainty of cleanliness and hygiene of the host's accommodations. Furthermore, Airbnb hosts will be heavily impacted as they are losing a considerable amount of their income. Airbnb may also face difficulties after COVID-19 as guests may not want to use their platform as they may prefer to stay in hotels that have regular cleaning services. There are other issues that limit traveller retention. Popular cities such as New York, Barcelona, and other major tourist hotspots have considered short-term rental stays through the platform illegal. More and more properties have been delisted, and the only ones that remain on the site are illegal. Both hosts and customers have the risk of being caught, with the customer also being fined and evicted from the property. Airbnb must identify and tackle these issues head-on in order to remain the powerhouse in the online shared accommodation marketplace.
Hi, my name is Lauren Barrientos, and I am going to be discussing the solutions for privacy, safety, trust issues, and traveler retention. So in relation to trust, safety, and privacy issues, one potential solution could be that Airbnb can effectively utilize and continue to make improvements to the verification process on their platform from time to time. And what would happen is that Airbnb can quickly survey travelers and the hosts on the effectiveness of the verification process after the traveler has stayed at the place and all the whole process is over. And from there they can continue to implement the changes based on the feedback that they received. And they could potentially do like an ongoing evaluation of their processes and systems and make changes accordingly. This could be used and implemented when it comes to tracking the locations of where Airbnb is allowed and not allowed. So when you think about it, trust cannot really be maintained if the travelers find out that the place that they're staying or the listing that they're staying at is actually illegal. So something that could be done one way to use that ongoing evaluation is just to make sure that they have like a better tracking system so they can keep track of where they are allowed to have Airbnb listings and not. So in relation to traveler retention, so Airbnb, they already offer promotional codes and they already offer offers and they already offer credit to frequent travelers, and that kind of like motivates them to pick Airbnb every time they travel. And a way that an issue that kind of like may not work for them is that if a traveler decides to stay at a hotel instead of an Airbnb. So what they could potentially do is that they could just go deeper on why a traveler would go stay at a hotel than an Airbnb, and then just judge it accordingly on a case-by-case basis. So for example, a traveler would rather stay at a hotel because they trust the privacy and safety regulations better than that. So what Airbnb can do is they can address that issue by going deeper, going by a case-by-case basis, and find out what they should implement in their services to make sure that next time the traveler would indeed pick Airbnb. So as you can see, by having ongoing maintenance and ongoing evaluation and continuing to make improvements from time to time, just continuing to look at and reflect on the processes, Airbnb can always find ways to improve the use of their innovative business model.
At this redesign stage of the Airbnb business model, we will assume the problems we have identified require more than incremental changes to be solved. In light of these challenges and the COVID-19 pandemic resulting in the massive downturn in travel and wariness over health-related safety, we recommend Airbnb adopts a business model which offers much greater host engagement and management. On top of the stimulus provided by Airbnb, to restore their success after the pandemic, they will need to focus on building a stronger relationship with their hosts, who are both key partners and resources in their business model. Our redesign of the business model mandates additional value provided to hosts for increased revenue within the existing structure. This will rapidly increase guest re-engagement by addressing health and environmental concerns in the current social climate. The synergy Airbnb operates within currently, on the screen now, is disrupted by the lack of guest interest in accommodation due to the virus. The value they provide hosts and guests will need to grow on the host end by taking a more active role in host management. We believe, in the light of the COVID-19 crisis, travelers will be seeking accommodation with high hygiene standards, and a professional cleaning service will meet this demand by one of the key customer segments. This will benefit Airbnb in the short term by taking a more active role in host management and treating hosts even more like partners will give the business the control to adapt to unforeseen changes in the future. To fix these problems, we propose adding value to their existing service by implementing active management of host accommodation. This means Airbnb's service will become a tangible management of host accommodation beyond just matching hosts with guests. Besides enforcing verification for safety concerns, they will organize professional cleaning services provided by an extension of their own company or through local cleaners, similar to cleaning services provided by hotels but mobile. This is an option for hosts already, but integrating cleaners as a new resource in the model beyond being an optional feature for hosts will bring stability and control to Airbnb and incentivize guests to stay. This will provide value to guests in the form of added confidence in the hygiene standards of the accommodation, and to hosts by reducing personal management on their behalf. The additional work supplied by Airbnb in the form of cleaning services and guest management will attract a greater fee from hosts, which may trickle down to guests. This benefits the business and is worthwhile for hosts as partners and as a customer segment because of the value provided I just described. Ideally, this will be done with consideration of host location in relation to street busyness and bookings made in the area at the same time. Recommended bookings for guests will be shown with this information taken into account. This is to address negative perceptions of the business in small communities, difficulties associated with illegal listings, and monitor the carbon footprint of the travel they facilitate. This corporate social responsibility will improve their reputation, incentivize target properties and hosts to participate, and help grow their business in an environmentally and economically sustainable way. This does not just mean mandating professional cleaning, but Airbnb evolving as more than a search engine, taking on more responsibilities in verifying locations, hosts, and organizing guests' bookings on a host's behalf. Increasing Airbnb's stake in host management will allow them to coordinate bookings in a responsible way. Administration of these services will require a greater fee taken from host prices to be financially viable within the existing cost structure, but the incentive for hosts is better advertisement and virtually no personal administration of their accommodation. Thank you.